to Exam Hacks Academy. I'm Lebo.
And I'm Kai, and today we're looking at a really interesting poem called Graffiti.
Let's start by reading the poem together.
Beyond the dark shadows of a cold, abandoned alley lurks the masterpieces kept in time, the city's homemade gallery.
The city art of the common man. His words and thoughts and design, expressions, shared with quick swipes of every curve and line.
Graffiti art so rare and intimate, unaware of what is shown.
Telling the messages of a man's true life, drawn proudly on concrete stone.
At a glance, the drawings on the walls seem vulgar, low, and unclean.
The simple words of the unknown man, the man not heard or seen.
Yet there in his graffiti art, he shines, along with city fellow souls.
And their true words and expressed art are their dreams, their lives, and goals.
So when you pass a covered wall filled up with graffiti art,
remember that those are more than filthy wastes. They are the stories from the city's true heart.
Okay, Lebo, so what's this poem really about?
At first, it seems like it's just describing graffiti. But actually, it's about people who don't have a voice.
Exactly. The unknown man represents people who are ignored by society, and graffiti becomes their way of expressing themselves.
So the poem is saying, don't just see graffiti as mess, see it as real stories and emotions.
Let's break down the themes.
First, expression and identity. People use graffiti to show who they are.
Second, the voice of the unheard. These artists aren't famous, but they still have something important to say.
And third, judgment versus reality. What looks dirty might actually be meaningful.
The mood at the start feels quite dark.
Yes, words like dark shadows and cold abandoned alley create a gloomy, almost lonely feeling.
But then it changes. By the end, it feels more hopeful and respectful.
The tone also shifts from slightly critical of graffiti to appreciating it as art.
The imagery is really strong in this poem.
Definitely. We can picture a dark alley, rough concrete walls, bright graffiti artwork.
And I love city's homemade gallery that turns the whole city into an art space.
Let's look at some techniques.
Metaphor. City's homemade gallery graffiti walls as an art gallery. Symbolism. The unknown man represents all people who feel unseen. Contrast. Vulgar, low, and unclean versus meaningful stories. This shows how people judge too quickly. Personification. He shines gives importance to the graffiti artist.
The ending really stands out to me.
Yes, stories from the city's true heart.
That line tells us that graffiti is not just art. It's real life, real emotion, real people.
So next time you see graffiti,
don't just think mess or vandalism.
think, who made this? What are they trying to say?
Because